The President. Members, government officials, good morning. Questions. Question 1, Mr. Steven HO. Thank you, President. The government has been actively promoting the application of innovation and technology in recent years. Yes, there are views pointing out that there is a significant gap between Hong Kong and the mainland in terms of the level of application of unmanned cleansing technologies. In this connection, will the government inform this Council of the use of innovative cleansing technologies by the government in the past 5 years? With a breakdown by 1. Date of introduction, duration of testing, scope of application, expenditure involved, and manpower and expenditure saved following the use of such technologies. Some members of the sector have relayed that automated cleansing equipment such as unmanned sweepers may require supporting infrastructure such as charging facilities and network base stations, which involve lengthy interdepartmental vetting and approval processes. Whereas the duration of most existing government outsourcing contracts is just 3 years, making it difficult to recover the costs. Whether the government will consider extending the contract duration or directly providing the infrastructure and setting up an interdepartmental coordination task force to establish a one-stop green lane for vetting and approving recognized new technologies. And as it learns that currently, street cleansing service tenders are subject to minimum staffing requirements, and some members of the sector have relayed that this will lead to a high manpower cost, which will in effect discourage bidders from introducing technologies. Whether the government will consider adopting an output-based or performance-based model for tender evaluations and suitably relaxing or abolishing the minimum staffing requirements for such service tenders. Secretary for Environment and Ecology. President, various government departments have applied innovative cleansing technologies. In respect of public cleansing services, the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department, or the FEHD, has actively introduced innovative technologies, including unmanned cleansing technologies, to enhance the efficiency and quality of street cleansing work and to safeguard the occupational safety and health protection for staff. In response to the question raised by Mr. Steven HO, our reply is as follows. 1. Over the past 5 years, the FEHD has introduced or applied the following cleansing technologies. Pressure washer surface cleaners. Since 2018, the FEHD has tested mini street washing vehicles equipped with high-pressure hot water cleaners and pressure washer surface cleaners. The pressure washer surface cleaners can quickly remove stubborn stains, streamline manual scrubbing work, save time and energy, and reduce disturbances to pedestrians. The FEHD has now deployed the mini street washing vehicles across the territory in areas of high footfall and frequent activities and are easily fouled. As the use of pressure washer surface cleaners has been incorporated into street cleansing service contracts and is provided by contractors, the associated procurement and operating costs are subsumed under the overall contract value, and the FEHD does not maintain separate expenditure figures. Autonomous street cleaning robots. Since last year, the FEHD has been testing the use of autonomous street cleaning robots for street cleansing at the cost of about 580,000 Hong Kong dollars. These robots integrate multiple functions, including automated sweeping, refuse disposal, charging, and intelligent obstacle avoidance, making them particularly suited to broad, flagged pavements and waterfront areas. As the initial trial results were satisfactory, the FEHD has commissioned the Electrical and Mechanical Services Department to procure 2 additional robots, with the next phase of trials expected by the end of this year. Industrial-grade robot dogs. Since last year, the FEHD has been testing the use of industrial-grade robot dogs to assist in transporting refuse at remote and rural locations, such as hillside paths, slopes, and stairways, at a cost of about $670,000. The robot dogs can navigate slopes and autonomously traverse rugged terrain, improving the efficiency of refuse transport and reducing the risk of injury to workers from heavy lifting. The FEHD is actively exploring the addition of functions such as automatic navigation and full automation, so that the robot dogs can better meet practical operational needs. Electrically assisted trolleys. To reduce the physical burden on frontline workers when transporting refuse and other heavy loads, the FEHD has been testing the use of electrically assisted trolleys since last year, at a cost of about $220,000. The trolleys are foldable and suitable for use on pavements. The FEHD has further optimize the functions of the trolleys and is conducting field trials, strengthening the occupational safety and health protection for staff. Except for the pressure washer surface cleaners, the above three technologies remain at the trial stage, and the FEHD is not yet able to estimate the resources that may be saved. Any manpower and resources saved in the future will be flexibly redeployed on a priority basis to other environmental hygiene duties. 2. The government actively promotes the adoption of innovative technologies to enhance the quality and efficiency of public services. In doing so, it is necessary to assess operational feasibility, efficiency, cost effectiveness, and the supporting infrastructure required. The FEHD has been identifying innovative technologies or equipment with potential and practical applicability through two fronts. First, the FEHD has been proactively collaborating with the EMSD and other departments to conduct market research and arrange field trials for suitable projects to assess their operating conditions and effectiveness. Taking autonomous street cleaning robots as an example, the FEHD also assessed the supporting infrastructure and operational requirements required, such as charging stations and so on, during the trial phase. Should the FEHD decide to incorporate the use of such robots into future street cleansing service contracts, it will first assess whether the supporting infrastructure is sufficient and how much additional resources contractors would need to invest to ensure that the contract duration and terms are reasonable and practicable and the services are cost-effective. On the other hand, in line with the government's procurement principles to support innovation, the FEHD encourages tenderers to propose feasible, innovative solutions beyond the basic requirements stipulated in contracts. In the assessment of street cleansing service tenders, marks will be awarded under that criterion if tenderers provide innovative suggestions for adopting technology or other means that help enhance service efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity, thereby incentivizing tenderers to introduce innovative technologies. Where a contractor submits an innovative proposal in its tender and is successfully awarded the contract, the FEHD will require the contractor to implement the proposal. If the innovative proposal is proven feasible and effective, the FEHD will incorporate such technologies or equipment into future contract requirements to promote wider adoption. Vehicles equipped with automatic onboard refuse bin cleaner, which are widely used by the FEHD's contractors at present, were introduced and put into application through this approach. In determining contract duration, a range of factors must be carefully balanced, including the need to maintain market competition, service stability, and the upfront capital investment required of contractors. In accordance with prevailing government procurement guidelines, for services like street cleansing, which involve the employment of a large number of non-skilled workers, the FEHD generally sets a contract term of 3 years. For certain contracts where contractors require a longer period to recoup their investment, such as those involving a substantial number of specialized vehicles, the contract term would be set at 5 years. 3. The FEHD's street cleansing service contracts are drawn up on an outcome-based principle, with performance indicators set for contractors. For example, if the cleanliness of litter bins falls below standard, contractors must carry out cleansing within a specified time frame. Besides, depending on the nature of services, the FEHD also stipulates in tender documents requirements on manpower, work shifts, and cleansing frequency, with a view to ensuring the successful tenderer meeting the basic service standards recognized by the FEHD. These arrangements help FEHD clearly define contract requirements and, on a fair and objective basis, compare and evaluate tenders for different street cleansing service contracts. The FEHD will continue to monitor the latest developments in cleansing technologies through various channels, including reference to local, mainland, and overseas experience, and will flexibly allocate resources to research and introduce suitable new technologies, with a view to continuously enhancing cleansing services. Thank you, President. Mr. Steven HO. Thank you, Chairman. According to the question and replies raised in the previous Finance Committee, for every $1 million spent on cleansing contracts, 80% of the value is on manpower requirements. So the remaining 20% combines technology spending and the contractor's profits. Now, the technologies include a solar aluminum refuse collection bin and also solar-powered compacting bins, as well as IP cameras. So these are for enhancing OSH protection for employees. But there is still little use of AI. Now, the tender requirements are only on a voluntary basis. So the government needs to change its mindset to proactiveness without setting a rigid framework so that the industry can provide innovative solutions to the government. So with the government establish committees to assess tenders and encourage trial use of technologies at trial sites rather than focusing on enhancements. Secretary, I thank Mr. Steven HO for his question. Now, the government, in particular the FEHD, are tackling the issues on two fronts. One is through conditions on tenders. Now, in the past, 30% of the marks would be awarded to technology and 70% to price. Now, we have adjusted the ratio, 50% to technology level and 50% to price. This will incentivize tenderers to introduce innovative technologies, which will give them higher marks. On the other hand, the FEHD has been proactively collaborating with the EMSD and other departments. They would conduct visits to mainland cities to learn about the technologies they use. When there are appropriate technologies, they would proactively apply these technologies on a trial basis. When these technologies are proven to be feasible, they will incorporate the use of these technologies in future tenders and contracts. So this is how the FEHD is promoting the use of INT in cleansing. Professor Lau Chi-Pang. Thank you, President. Now, this question has been discussed on numerous occasions. Now, my question is simple. We will allow each individual district to handle the cleansing contracts individually. Now, some technologies are applicable only to certain districts. So can we allow some districts to conduct trial use of technologies and introduce healthy competition? Secretary, I thank the professor for his question. Indeed, as I've mentioned, we have been conducting trials. So instead of conducting the trial across the territory, we would only select appropriate locations in the districts and compare its effectiveness with other districts. Only then would we apply the technology across the territory. For example, the pressure washer surface cleaners. That's how we have been introducing the technology for use over the territory. At the same time, we do encourage our colleagues in the district to conduct trial use of unmanned cleansing technologies. Now, if the trials are successful, again, we can apply the experience in other districts as well. So with this concept, we can gradually promote the use of innovative technologies. Professor William Wong. Thank you, President. Has the government used AIoT technologies combined with smart cameras equipped on smart robots? Once faults are identified, cleansing workers can be deployed immediately. Secretary, we have already begun adopting AI to assist with our cleansing work, in particular on law enforcement. Now, let me give you some examples. We are using infrared cameras equipped with AI to detect water dripping from air conditioners. Now, with infrared cameras, we can identify the water dripping locations, and with AI, we can determine whether the dripping is from air conditioners or otherwise. So this has assisted our law enforcement operations. We are also using AI to assess the efficiency and performance of our work, as well as setting priorities. Now, one example is identification of rodents. We are using cameras to identify the infestation of rodents. So these technologies can help us assess the performance of our work as well as the work priorities, or whether we can expand the technology for monitoring fly tipping or littering. We have already installed smart IP cameras to monitor littering. So that we can focus our cleansing efforts on black spots. Now, in terms of the actual effectiveness, we still need to review the efficacy of the pilot scheme. Thank you. Mr. Chen Ho. Thank you, President. According to the reply, the pressure washer surface cleaners are deployed for cleansing. Indeed, we do see cleansing workers using that equipment to clean the streets. However, recently, I haven't seen anyone using that equipment. So have you monitored the frequency of the technology being used? It shouldn't be just for a show. Secretary. I thank Mr. Chan for pointing at that. As I've said, we are still trialing the use of pressure washer surface cleaners. Now, because of its success, we have already made it a standard equipment in our contract terms. So all contractors in the 18 districts should be using the pressure washer surface cleaners to wash the streets. Now, my assumption is, after using the surface cleaners, the sanitary condition has improved, so the frequency of use has reduced since then. But I will bring your view to the team. We cannot be complacent simply because the streets have become cleaner. I will remind my colleagues to that point. Ms. Grace Chan. Thank you, President. Now, on one hand, the government is encouraging the use of cleansing technology. On the other hand, the government is using a lowest bidder win approach to award tender. So is that conflicting? Does it mean that the existing tender system is going against the adoption of technologies? Secretary. As I've said, there are two approaches. First of all, we have adjusted the weighting on technology from 70 to 30 to half-half. So we have been putting more focus on the use of technologies to encourage tenderers to propose innovative solutions. So those who proposed innovative solutions would have an edge. On the other hand, we are proactively identifying suitable technologies. If the trials are successful, we would make those technologies a standard term in a contract to provide more certainty to the tenderers. So that's how we are balancing the cost as well as the quality of tenders. Mr. Peter Shiu. The speaker is not speaking through the mic. Now, part 3 of Mr. Steven HO's question is clear. The sector has been complaining about the minimum staffing requirements in street cleansing service tenders. Now, if technologies are used to replace part of that manpower, then the tenderer will not be able to win the contract. Now, to ensure that public money is well spent, we have to change the requirements on minimum staffing requirements. Otherwise, the tenderers will only focus on the number of employees hired. Now, the value on manpower usually accounts for 85% of the contract. So we have to adjust the requirements on contracts. Secretary. Now, there is room for improvements in making our streets even cleaner. So by introducing unmanned cleansing technologies, the primary goal is to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency as well as the occupational safety and health conditions of workers. Our focus is not on saving manpower. In many of our contracts, we still have minimum staffing requirements to ensure a fair ground for competition. And we are actively conducting trials for those technologies which are proven to be useful. We will make them standard requirements on tenders. And then we would consider the amount of manpower required. And we will flexibly adjust the manpower requirements. When there are new standard practice on our contract, we will adjust the ratio. But the target is not to reduce the use of manpower, but rather using the same resources to provide better services to the public. That's our main objective.
Question
to Dr. Simon Lee.